Hey guys, can you hear me well? Branimir and Nikola?
Yeah, very good.
Okay. Just want to test the sound first. I think we'll wait for about 5 to 7 minutes more for people to come, and then we start the AMA. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just checking if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Beautiful.
Okay, maybe 2 more minutes, and then we start. Hey guys, I'll start the AMA. Are you guys ready?
Born ready.
Yeah, more than ready.
Okay, so welcome everyone to our AMA on Polkadot Insider. So make sure you go and follow our page on YouTube and Twitter. We have a YouTube channel also named Polkadot Insider with really nice, really great videos about new projects on Polkadot Insider. So joining me today, we have two special guests. First one, I want to introduce Branimir. He is the founder and CTO of OriginTrail. We also have Nikola. He is the lead blockchain engineer at OriginTrail. Hey guys.
Hey. Thank you for having us. Happy to be here.
Hey, yeah.
Great to have you. Okay, so I think today we're gonna cover the aspects of AI, of course, with OriginTrail, and furthermore, Neuro Web AI. It is a parachain that is powered by OriginTrail and Polkadot. So before anything, I really want to get to know about you guys first. So please tell us about yourself, your background, and also your journey to Web3.
Sure. Yeah, I guess I can start. So I'm Branimir. I'm one of the founders and CTO behind the project, and been actually in Web3 since 2016 when we started doing the initial MVPs and deployments on Ethereum. But actually, my background is mostly networks and data. So also telecom engineering in the back. So have been working with networks since 2G onwards, right out of university. Yeah, we've been building in Web3 ever since 2016. Like I said, initially on Ethereum, then trying to deploy what was to then become the OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph directly on chain, and then actually launched as a separate network. And we will surely talk about it more today. So we are basically the architects and creators of the decentralized knowledge graph, the first of its kind in the world. And ever since then, we've been very active in deploying it in a multi-chain manner, ultimately also doing it on Polkadot with a specific chain. But yeah, we'll talk more about that in a bit. Nikola, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, hi everyone, my name is Nikola. And yeah, I started being young and interested a lot in cryptography and security and privacy. Spent a lot of time in cybersecurity competitions, but then through OriginTrail I started my Web2 journey, and yeah, it was more than fun. It was so interesting being on the front of the R&D research in the intersection of AI and blockchain, where we created the decentralized knowledge graph, but also I've been from the first day on the specification implementation of the Neuro Web AI. And yeah, that led me more than 3.5 years together with OriginTrail building the I would say really huge ecosystem around our project. And yeah, would happy to discuss more about it. And yeah, also aside this security stuff brought me to be a coach of Serbian national team in cybersecurity, which we are competing every year on European cybersecurity challenge.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. So I'm really excited. I want to get broke down to, all the projects here, all the products that you're having here. But please walk us through the project itself first. So in a non-tech way, so it's easier for people to, like, everyone to understand, how would you describe OriginTrail?
That's one of those easy questions, right? How do you describe something very technical in a non-technical way? But we'll give it a try.
Exactly.
Let's give it a try. So yeah, you can consider OriginTrail kind of in the simplest terms. It is the trusted infrastructure for basically AI and knowledge, or we like to call it the verifiable internet. What it allows people to do is to actually connect different knowledge across different places, different services, websites, and then build something with obviously trust primitives on top. So that would be trusted AI applications, applications involving digital twins, where you can track both physical and digital assets, so real-world assets. It allows you to build deep-in applications on top of it because of the OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph, and various different types of, like I said, trusted AI infrastructure supported applications. And it is really designed to solve several key problems that we see, especially today, but particularly kind of the key problem that is trying to tackle is the issue of misinformation. So when you look at the world today, we have, even before AI, we had a lot of issues with having the ability to verify if something is really information or misinformation, right? Well, humans created a lot of misinformation already, but now when AI is around, and because AI can hallucinate, which is one of the biggest problems within the AI space today, it is actually creating content much quicker and is able to produce even more misinformation. So one of the problems that OriginTrail enables to tackle is this problem of hallucination, really. Meaning that if you use AI with OriginTrail, with the decentralized knowledge graph, you can limit or completely eliminate hallucinations within AI applications. On the other hand, another big problem with AI today is that it's obviously centralized. So centralized AI means all the bad things that come with it. So black box algorithms, but also very black box way of understanding how your data is used. Ultimately, having those owners of that centralized AI become owners of your data. And some people would even say owners of you as well. If there's an AI that knows everything about you, it's almost as if it owns you. So with the decentralized knowledge graph in OriginTrail, you're able to remain the owner of your data, or rather we call it knowledge, which is another big important point here, is that this distinction. So knowledge is actually something that can be verifiable, versus data can just be anything, any raw data, right? So with OriginTrail, you get this additional capability of actually providing a higher order of trust and understanding into the data itself. And then ultimately, tokenization of this knowledge, which not only just allows you to own your knowledge, or rather what we call them is knowledge assets, but also to monetize it in different ways, including providing incentives for making knowledge available to the world. So to kind of round all these up together, really what OriginTrail aims to do is to provide this infrastructure for global knowledge sharing, for really an emerging global intelligence. You might even want to call it general intelligence, but really as this trusted knowledge root, which enables anybody to own their knowledge assets, use them with AI, limiting hallucinations and introducing verifiability with obvious primitives that come with Web3, such as knowledge tokenization and providing basically exposure to the market. So was this somewhat non-technical? Did I hit it or did I miss it?
I think you did great. And I mean, it's still like, for me, I personally, I'm not like tech savvy, but I get the general idea of a trusted infrastructure. And as I heard from you, is you can like you can build like depends, you can do real world assets as well. Feature empowered by AI, right? And there's something that I find it's quite interesting. You said that you can with OriginTrail we can exclude hallucination. Can you give me like a more detailed like an example of that?
Sure, absolutely. So OriginTrail applies something which is called decentralized retrieval augmented generation. I know it might sound like a mouthful, but it's basically retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, is literally the latest, most emerging, most used pattern when it comes to using AI. And the reason here is that with retrieval augmented generation, you can feed an LLM certain data or knowledge, and then basically sort of guardrail it so that it only uses that. So when using that in the decentralized manner with the decentralized retrieval augmented generation, it is basically the opportunity here is to provide LLMs knowledge that was previously cryptographically signed and timestamped on a blockchain, such as Polkadot, and then it is able to provide not just get the guardrails that RAG provides, but also gets two additional benefits. One is because DRAG employs this decentralized knowledge graph. That means it enables additional verifiability on the knowledge level. And secondly, because it applies, like I said, the blockchain, it enables to always show the trusted source and that the information hasn't been tampered with. So those are the primitives. However, the kind of the big benefit here also comes from the notion of network effects. So that means RAG versus DRAG, as OriginTrail introduces it, the decentralized retrieval augmented generation, means that we can do this across multiple sources. So that data, or rather knowledge, coming from different entities, be that people or companies or whoever is basically contributing to the graph, depending on the context, it can be an RWA context or deep in context, you're able to do basically AI queries on top of all this. So that means when you discover some knowledge, you can always see where it comes from and who made it, but it's also not just one centralized place that you do this with. It's a collaborative, crowdsourced really knowledge graph that is being built by all of the people who are building within it. So this limits hallucinations because it applies, like I said, these couple of different principles that ultimately doesn't allow the LLM to just statistically guess, because LLMs are really good guessers. So if you ask it, for example, what is the capital of France, it will say Paris most likely, but it's because it's a simple question and we've been trained on a lot of that data. The problems come from the point where it's not really that easy, and then often LLMs just guess, they're very confident. So I'm sure a lot of people listening today have experienced a hallucination coming out, and obviously you cannot use that in some form of scenario where your money is at stake or your reputation is at stake. That goes from not just enterprises, but really us as people. So long story short, you need some verifiability, and the DKG provides this verifiability for all the knowledge assets on it through, like I said, the RAG mechanism, the graph, and the verifiability coming from really these being issued on a blockchain in the sense of similar to verifiable credentials. So when you do this, the LLM does no longer hallucinate. It's going to look into the knowledge asset to see if there's an answer in there of what is the capital of France. So it won't guess, it will just try to search inside of the knowledge graph, and if it finds literally a statement made by somebody or by multiple people ideally, that Paris is the capital of France, it will return that answer and will say, based on these inputs that I got, which you can check, I think the capital is Paris, right? So it's a very different ballgame versus It's just statistically guessing something and often getting it right, but not 100% of the time, right?
I heard you mention the terms DKG. So, as far as I know, it is decentralized knowledge graph. So, can you talk more? Can you explain more about the terms? And is that like a tech or it's like a product of you guys?
Yes, OriginTrail Decentralized Knowledge Graph is this unique architecture and infrastructure that I mentioned that is the multi-chain system. It's been live since 2018 and actually has been heavily adopted by enterprises around the world. So I can just highlight a couple of them. The US retailers are actually sourcing 40% of all the imports in the US and covering that with documentation shared across OriginTrail. And that's been live for several years now. So I'm talking US retailers such as Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Disney, and others. And what they do is really they share knowledge assets across the DKG in a private fashion as well, which is very interesting since they're competitors, but actually they use the DKG for many years now already. Another example is the railway industry. So pioneering Swiss railways have been using OriginTrail for several years now to track all kinds of things, such as real-world objects like trains and parts, but also events in their supply chain, and including things that are on the trains, so goods such as food. There's also a lot of companies within the food and beverage space that have been building and using OriginTrail for many years now. For example, today you can go in shops in certain parts of Europe and you can take products on the shelf, you can scan it, and you can chat with it. One example like that is a chat with the chicken product that was just recently launched by a company, one of the biggest poultry producers in Europe. And wherever the products are available, you can basically go in the store and do this. And all of this is built on OriginTrail Decentralized Knowledge Graph, based on this concept that I mentioned previously. And apart from that, there's also many government and academic projects also being built at the same time. Just recently, we kickstarted a big project together with partners from the EU Commission and companies around Europe on creating basically AI digital twins of aviation and manufacturing industries. That's going to help basically improve the way both manufacturing is done, but also the safety of the aviation space. We're active in the construction industry as well, where construction industry across Europe is using OriginTrail to create digital twins and of buildings and parts, ultimately to create something called the digital building logbook. And all of these things are really have been growing in the OriginTrail space for many years now. So the network itself has been growing heavily and steadily. There's already millions of knowledge assets in the decentralized knowledge graph, and that follows also a lot of stake of tokens that has been accrued within the system. So there's quite a bit that interested folks can see. I can share some links below, but basically you can go and check out the way the network looks like. It's of course all open source and open for anybody to join and use, so you can run all the infrastructure, both the decentralized knowledge graph nodes, as well as the blockchain nodes that are being used, such as Neuro Web. But even without running infrastructure, you can stake tokens and support the infrastructure with basically track tokens and ultimately secure the network. So that's kind of a brief intro, I guess, about OriginTrail, but there's a lot more to the decentralized knowledge graph. So we're currently in version 6, and we're growing towards the next version 8, which is going to have even higher growth because it includes new additional components of really building autonomy into the decentralized knowledge graph. So that means generating new entries based on symbolic AI rules that will basically leverage this network effect. And that means the more knowledge is in the graph, then the more valuable the entire decentralized knowledge graph is, based on Metcalfe's law, which I suppose a bunch of us probably have heard here since we're in the Web3 space. And if you haven't, I totally encourage everybody to look into it. The man behind the law, Dr. Bob Metcalfe, is actually an advisor to us for many years now. So he's helping us really put this into practice as much as possible.
Yeah, I would add one more thing regarding DKG, because I quite some time heard like the misunderstanding that people think that DKG is a blockchain, but DKG is actually a decentralized network. That it's not a blockchain. We can look at it like a layer 2, and DKG is communicating with different kind of blockchains. The one and the most important one is the Neuro Web, which is the custom tailored blockchain for the DKG, but there is also Gnosis, and in the previous version we have been connected to Ethereum, to Polygon, and that's the main thing, like in the DKG, how it can scale infinitely as much as there are blockchains there. It can connect to any blockchain as at the moment if it has an EVM support, which is a lot of blockchains that everyone knows, and it makes it like really easy to adapt in different ecosystems and really easy to expand and connect different blockchains.
So are you mentioning that DKG is not like a blockchain? Is it like more of like technology, like a special technology?
It's a special network, let's say, decentralized network that communicates with different blockchains. So it has the same concept as the blockchain. So you have node runners there. You have people who are hosting parts of the network who are dedicated for node running. You have a staking mechanism on the network, which is handled by the blockchain side. But DKG itself is like a special decentralized network.
Okay, I think I have like not like the brief, but like a more insight of DKG as well as thank you for the notice. Before we getting to the next topic, which is Neuro Web AI, I think Nikola, do you want to add in anything more about the special technology of OriginTrail, apart from all of the like special features? Maybe talk a little bit more about the technology.
Well, without going into too much details, I would say like that, we have covered a lot of things, but maybe if we put it like in the simple terms, like the main thing are the knowledge graphs. And what we have, knowledge graph is a tag that's used for a lot of time in the AI space, and it's common in all the big tech companies like Google, Netflix, and Amazon, and they all have like in-house huge knowledge graphs which they use for their products, for different recommendation-based systems, for different knowledge systems that they build. And what we are trying here is giving it open to the people, so creating a huge knowledge graph that's open and that's decentralized, so there is no central authority which will censor it, but it will be open to the users. People will be able to join the network and host part of it, and then it will be it will be like the open knowledge base for the future. And now the AI is the ones, like most of the apps are built on the knowledge graphs, and that's why we think as the DKG as the best knowledge base for building future AI agents and applications.
Yeah, Nikola made a really good point where, like, even though maybe in Web3 it's not such a common thing, but in Web2, knowledge graphs really rule. So literally every big company you can think of, Amazon, Netflix, like mentioned, but also NASA, Google, all of them feed all of the data that we give them into these knowledge graphs. So anytime Netflix recommends you a show to watch, or Google or Amazon, for example, recommends you something to buy, they're actually not using like some form of ChatGPT-like thing. They've been using knowledge graphs for years. And what the key thing here is that the more data they put in their knowledge graphs, effectively the more value they get. So they get to make better recommendations, therefore they sell more, therefore they get a ton of value. So, but all these companies, they basically build their own centralized internal knowledge graphs, and that's really proof that data is incredibly valuable if you make knowledge out of it and if you contextualize it so it's useful. So really the point of OriginTrail is to create an even bigger value than they did, because we can connect all of the knowledge in the world in a public domain, so anybody can participate, and there's incentives for those who are to be adding knowledge into the decentralized knowledge graph. And essentially we can recreate what they've done centrally, but even better in a decentralized manner, creating even more value. And obviously creating value for those who are running the network and those who are participating with their knowledge. So in this knowledge marketplace, so it's all shared and it's all decentralized from the get-go.
Thank you for like the I think all the examples that you've given, it's very near to like the whole picture, so we can actually envision what decentralized knowledge graph means. We're gonna move to a more exciting route for Polkadot lovers today, Neuro Web AI. So as far as I know, it's a parachain built on Polkadot. So I know that please tell more about the Neuro Web and why did you decide to go as the parachain on Polkadot?
Well, yeah, Neuro Web is probably the first decentralized AI blockchain or parachain on Polkadot, and it was designed to incentivize like knowledge creation and knowledge connectivity, and everything this drives through a concept that we call the knowledge mining. So the knowledge mining is organized crowdsourcing where the community is participating in creating some knowledge and contributing to the decentralized knowledge graph, and in return it receives some rewards which are in the utility token of the Neuro Web called Neuro. And this was like in a short like how we envision the AI knowledge economy, which is powered by the Neuro Web. And it's previously, maybe worth mentioning that it was previously known as OriginTrail parachain, which got renamed to the Neuro Web, which, yeah, I would say more closely describes what's the purpose of the blockchain and how the Neuro Web is actually like, it's a quite groundbreaking concept, like, and especially the knowledge mining. I get always too much excited when I start thinking about how powerful it is, like where you have like community gathered together and creating some knowledge and verifying it and saying, okay, this is the knowledge that we believe in, this is high quality knowledge, it's not something hidden, it's something that, yeah, community agreed. And we can say it's like similar to the Bitcoin mining where, yeah, community miners provide some computing resources to the network and they receive some incentives in coins. Well, here we have people, yeah, thinking, creating some knowledge useful, mining that knowledge to the OriginTrail DKG, and they receive some Neuro tokens in return. And maybe Branimir wants to add a bit more on it.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think you gave a really, really good overview. Basically, the Neuro Web here focusing on not being just another blockchain, but rather being this blockchain for knowledge mining. And being launched on Polkadot, it can also leverage all of the value generated by other ecosystems or blockchains in the ecosystem. So meaning that, if we require some support from from like a set of functionalities that Moonbeam provides that would be useful and usable across the ecosystem. So Neuro Web really narrowly focuses on this notion of knowledge mining and providing the ability to actually reward users, entities, people, companies, or even AI agents for contributing knowledge into the decentralized knowledge graph in this sense that Nikola explained. And Neuro Web is basically an EVM-enabled blockchain, so it's also very friendly for builders who are looking to build within the context of the EVM, Solidity, but it's also native, basically native parachain, so it gets all of the cool benefits that we get from Polkadot. And some things being built on Polkadot, on Polkadot and Neuro Web are especially interesting, where you can also go learn more about it. One such product is called Polkabot. You might have seen it previously also here on Twitter as well, because you can chat with it on Twitter. It's essentially, the vision for Polkabot is that it's your friendly neighborhood, basically agent, AI agent that works on trusted knowledge crowdsourced by the Polkadot community. And you can actually go and check it out, where you can play with it and ask it questions about Polkadot, Neuro Web as well. So this is one example of an application that's already running on Neuro Web, but also a lot of those that I previously mentioned are running on Neuro Web as well. At one point, Neuro Web was, I think, the number one blockchain in the ecosystem in terms of transaction volume, daily transaction volume. It's still up there, I think, second or third at the moment. And it's basically constantly under a lot of use. So even though you might have not seen it or used it previously, it's one of the most used chains in the system because of a lot of enterprise adoption, as well as we mentioned the retailers and the other companies previously. So there's quite a lot of things that are going on that you can also be part of. And obviously, what's interesting here is to also look at the roadmap that's coming up for Neuro Web. So I encourage everybody to go check out the Neuro Web website, neuroweb.ai, but also to check out how they can contribute and participate. Very soon, we'll also run an upgrade that will enable you to also stake on collators and run collators using the Neuro token. So basically participating in running the blockchain side of things as well. But outside of that, also all of the good stuff that's coming, such as asynchronous backing, which is one of the things that we really look forward to. Like I mentioned, we see a lot of transactions, and actually there's a lot more looking to get on chain. So we really look forward to the upgrade in terms of the throughput that we get, because the growing adoption is really driving all of this activity, and it's becoming a bottleneck in that sense. So Neuro Web is probably going to be one of the first chains that implements asynchronous backing, and we're working on it as we speak. But other things as well. So many of the topics that are coming up, including the knowledge mining topics, are really exciting. That's one of the things that I think makes a lot of sense to give a little bit more context for. So it's called knowledge paranets. So the ability to launch essentially your system, your trusted AI system on Neuro Web and the OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph, which enables anybody to essentially create their trusted AI project that combines knowledge assets that would be crowdsourced on this paranet and custom AI services that you might be running, such as agents or any type, like a UI or something of that sort that fits a certain purpose. And one such example is a decentralized science paranet that is about to be launched by a team called ID Theory. Basically, the idea of this paranet is that it advances scientific research by crowdsourcing knowledge from researchers. And that means everything from scientific papers to reviews to direct ontological knowledge that has been produced, and many other inputs. ultimately through this decentralized science parent. And what the killer feature really of these paranets is something called the initial paranet offering. So an initial paranet offering is really the ability to bootstrap your paranet by requesting emissions of Neuro tokens from essentially the treasury for your idea. So if you're looking to build a trusted AI on Polkadot, you can do that on Neuro Web and OriginTrail with the ability to ask for a set of emissions for knowledge miners. So once you do that, you basically launch an IPO, the initial paranet offering, and anybody who, if the IPO is approved on Neuro Web governance, which applies obviously decentralized governance, you would be able to basically emit Neuro tokens for anybody who contributes to your AI system. That can be either contributing knowledge or it can be contributing services, such as agents or connecting LLMs with your paranet and so forth. So I encourage everybody who is looking to build in the space of decentralized AI on Polkadot to take a look at this concept of paranets and to consider launching their IPO, because you can essentially get funding to incentivize people who are providing the right type of knowledge or service to your IPO or your system. So there's a lot more on the Neuro Web AI website, and like I said, there's also examples. I can share a link of the IPO I already mentioned. I'll actually add it in below this Spaces tweet right now.
And yeah, I would just emphasize on one more thing, like same as on Polkadot, like we really care about decentralization, about the community who will govern everything. Neuro Web is the same. We have the same governance approach and it's completely control of the community. And it also translates to this IPO. So initial paranet offerings are not something like OriginTrail is saying who will get some funding or something. It's something that you go and propose to the Neuro Web community, and then the community is the one who decides if it's supporting your proposal, is it something valid that will contribute to the whole ecosystem or not.
Great, thank you, you guys. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. So what I get is that you can do like trusted AI on Polkadot. So I think Neuro Web is very builder friendly. Are you guys like having like a strategy on heading more towards the tinkerers, like rather than more of an end user for this project for Neuro Web?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I didn't get it entirely.
So I was asking that I think Neuro Web it's built to be builder friendly, right? So is your strategy for Neuro Web is leaning more towards the builder side rather than the end user, like for the community as well? Are you heading towards more of the tinkerer?
Yeah, thanks for the recap. Yeah, so basically Neuro Web, like I said, it's the point of Neuro Web is to provide also wide options for builders, but as well as regular user, let's say. So when I say options for builders, that means you can build natively like on EVM as you might be used to as if you're a builder in the blockchain space. But also obviously in Substrate. So we're really fond of Substrate, the framework and the power it brings to the entire ecosystem. So definitely it's a place to go and try if you're looking to build in the centralized AI space. Like I said, especially the ability to launch your own services via IPOs should be very exciting. But that also means that anybody who would be using really OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph for knowledge mining on any other blockchain. And let me remind us all here that OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph is a multi-chain decentralized knowledge graph. So it's connected to Ethereum ecosystem as well, and it will expand in the future to other chains. So basically anybody mining knowledge anywhere will be eligible to get Neuro rewards. And effectively that is a way to get more users on Neuro as well, on Neuro Web, users who are not builders. So having that said, that there's quite a lot of energy being invested in that as well, where we want to make Neuro Web really the place that you can easily use and contribute, not just use, but also contribute to trusted AI solutions, even if you're not a builder. But if you are, you get basically the two best things available in the blockchain space right now, which is the EVM, which is really the standard, and Substrate, which is really the rock star of the Polkadot space, and we're super happy to be building with it together. I don't know, Nikola, if you think there's anything else to highlight on this topic.
Well, yeah, I would like to say that like the builders are more focused on the DKG, but by just the building of the DKG, they're also like using the Neuro Web. So it's coming in a package. Like you will use both of the two tech, and they will make it much easier for you to build AI apps and much more powerful. I mean, in my opinion.
Great. So I really want to ask you guys, like each one of you, I would love to hear your aspect, your point of view about the current AI landscape on Polkadot. So what's your opinion?
I think there's a lot of interesting ideas floating around, and that Polkadot can really be this chain that brings all of the different ideas together in a synergistic way. And especially as AI is going to become really dominant in the world. And when I say that, I like to mention one example, which is that basically the content on the web has been historically produced by humans, right? Maybe sometimes we use the scriptor to automate something, but ultimately most content is human generated. But now as content became very easy and quick to generate, I would say cheap to generate by AI, we're actually getting inflation of AI generated content, and it's a very inflationary, if I may say, asset, while the non-AI generator, or rather not just human, but rather human generated, but rather human curated and organized, is something that will become even more and more valuable. And that's a big part behind OriginTrail, is actually enabling that value through knowledge assets, and obviously enabling that value through the Polkadot ecosystem. But we're also very excited to see what others are building as well. So leveraging really the primitives of these decentralized technologies, because ultimately what we are looking to build as a vision is what we call the verifiable internet for AI. And obviously we're not going to build it alone. We're very happy to be part of the ecosystem, and that we can build it together with others. And we believe we're building one of the key components, which is the decentralized knowledge graph and the Neuro Web. Those two are really the backbone of this idea, but they're not obviously the entirety of the idea. So just as the internet is comprised of many different technologies and products that run it, and different protocols, so with the verifiable internet for AI. And we're super happy to see the emerging solutions popping up and seeing how we can integrate different technologies together. One of the key principles of development behind OriginTrail since the get-go has been interoperability and neutrality. So what we're really doing is always trying to follow either certain standards or certain open principles, so that once you use OriginTrail, you can plug easily in something that either you're building or has already been built. So pretty much all of the stuff that we are talking about today follows either W3C standards or ERC standards or GS1 standards. But without going too deep into the tech, the point here being is that we are ready, and the technology is basically ready for anybody in the space to build with it and interoperate with very easily. So yeah, and I think Polkadot can really be the place where a lot of new exciting things can happen. We have a good history of strong builders in the space, so I'm really excited to see what the future, both near and long term, brings.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with everything that Brana said. I mean, the thing about the Polkadot, it's like a really good place for builders. It's innovative, and it's like drives you in the proper direction regarding how you should approach the building part and how you should address the community and everything. Like, aside of decentralization, which is one of the first points, there is also like really good engineering standards and really good engineering approaches which the Polkadot community fosters, and which, yeah, it aligns with our approaches, and we think this is the best way to approach the building, and this is why the AI landscape will evolve here in the best way. It won't be like some quickly based solutions or something. It will be something built for a longer term, and it will be here to stay. So I would say that, and also I would add that, like, through the DKG and Neuro Web, thanks to the Polkadot XCM and other technologies, we're trying to collaborate and looking into how to provide access, because DKG is designed to be multi-chain, so having every parachain contribute to the DKG is the future that we are looking. So whole Polkadot ecosystem will be able to use DKG as a second layer network for building future AI applications. And that's the verifiable internet that we are speaking about.
Great. So I think we've covered much of the aspects for our talk today. Some of the last question I want to ask you guys is that I've heard I heard that you already mentioned about your roadmap, but will there be any exciting news that might come in the near future? Is there anything that you want to share, and also maybe some milestones that you guys been through?
Well, absolutely. There's a ton of things that are coming up that are really exciting. I'll just post one also in tweet under this, which also summarizes something called ChatDKG, which is really the way to build your trusted AI solution and tackle, like I said, hallucinations, bias, and this problem of model collapse. So there's a lot of things happening on that front, and with ChatDKG, it is also not just possible to build, but also launch your own pairnets. So we're really excited for those that are coming up. There's also a bunch of additional updates, like we mentioned, that are going to focus on scalability. One of those being asynchronous backing, as we mentioned, on Neuro Web, but also the V8 update coming on OriginTrail DKG with something called random sampling, which is kind of a similar concept, let's say, to asynchronous backing in the world of OriginTrail Decentralized Knowledge Graph. We're also looking at other additional blockchain integrations coming, knowledge mining kickstarting via pairnets, and additional AI model integrations through ChatDKG AI. I posted some below. I'll actually also post another interesting one that just came to mind. And then towards DKG V8, we're looking at one of the most exciting developments, in my opinion, here, which is really this autonomous autonomous decentralized knowledge graph. The ability to really run autonomous trusted AI agents and on the DKG, both on the knowledge level, so creating additional knowledge, but also really running agents as services that you can trust and that won't go off and hallucinate in a decentralized environment, supported by the decentralized knowledge graph, and then all of this also in the deep in context. So we're looking to enable this to run in various different environments, obviously as deep-in framework goes. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up. I encourage everybody to also check it out. This is, by the way, not something that will happen in some mega distant future, and it's intangible. You can already do a lot of things with OriginTrail today. You can even try them. You can run the code. So there's a lot of stuff you can find on our official website and docs or Discord. And I'll post just one example. For example, how you can use NVIDIA models and build with NVIDIA platform using OriginTrail and ChatGPT with even a detailed code run through. I'll just post it literally now under this under the AMA. So yeah, lots of exciting things coming up. Do you think I missed something, Nikola, or did I cover it?
Yeah, I think you covered most of the important stuff. I mean, there are too much of them, so yeah, it's easy to forget something. I would add, a bit more on the Neuro website. So as we mentioned, IPO is definitely one of the most exciting things that's going to be launched soon, and which I've been working at the moment right now, but looking into code and discussing here. But also, as the whole Polkadot ecosystem, we're quite excited about async backing being ready, and we are also integrating it. That's one of the scalability boosts that we are looking for, because quite a lot interest in using Neuro Web. We need this kind of optimization, and definitely one of the most interesting things for a community of Neuro Web is the collateral staking, which also is in the working. So I would point out these three as the major features upcoming in the near future.
Okay, thank you guys for all the informations today. I think that we cover everything. So we're coming to the end of our AMA. I want to thank you so much for spending your time with us today, and I hope that everyone today have learned more about OriginTrail and as well as Neuro Web AI. I'm looking forward to update more news about your projects in the future. Once again, thank you guys.
Thanks, Tom, for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you a lot. It was a pleasure indeed.
Thank you. Big shout out. Okay, I'm ending this AMA. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.